All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another week here with us at Apollo Racing Club. It's going to be a little bit of an interesting start to this stream. They just... Oh, wait, no, never mind. They did restart it like they were going to say. Or they said they were going to. I know how to talk. I speak English as my first language. How's everybody doing? This week we are going to be at Zolder, as the title says. Very, very fun track, especially when we're talking about having, let me see here, 39 cars all on this little itty bitty track all at the same time. Hope you guys like chicanes, because this track has a couple of them that are going to be very, very exciting, especially in the GT3 cars, which cannot really just kind of eat them like their GT4 counterparts. But right now the drivers are on their way out to... And joining me in the commentary booth, after a little bit of a break, I'm very pleased to say, Fred Fosberg. Welcome back to the stream. Glad to have you. It's going to be a fun day. And yes, I was talking trash about your GT3 cars. How you doing, Fred?
Yeah, thank you. As I see Alan Shu misses braking point and almost taking out a guy on the outlap. Solid start to this race. No, but yeah, feel like it's well. I've had an endurance race today that went, in my eyes, well, so I can't really complain. And now it's time to watch some good old ARC on the evening to see that everyone's progressing as I hope they are. And gave up some setup tips right before I came into the commentary booth, so let's see if the guys I helped out managed to get any good spots. I'm gonna be honest, but barely remember who I helped out now when I think of it, so we'll see.
He is our resident sage. He's the teacher of all of the amateur drivers. Very, very good at setups too. But we just now got some drivers on their hot lap, so let's go ahead and take a look over at Brian Katz on camera right now, starting off the start of his lap here, coming around turn 1. And actually, it looks like car number 404 is out in front. Let me go ahead and bring them on the screen here. It's gonna be Trev Hummer leading off the charge in one of the Honda NSXs here at this season. We've been seeing a lot more of them, as Fred was saying when I was talking to him earlier. These are actually kind of competitive now, and they weren't in previous seasons. So definitely excited to see some Hondas out here shredding. Fun little mid-engine car. I've not put enough time in. It's a favorite of yours, isn't it, Fred?
Yeah, I used it myself for a Soro last season, and back then it was honestly a really bad car, but I've heard rumors that Kunos managed to overwrite the old Evo with the new Evo 22, so if that is correct, where the car that Trev and Mike Jones is currently driving is the new Honda NSX Evo 22, which is on paper a very competitive car, and from the lap times we've seen, it's actually been faster than the new Audi on all tracks.
Interesting. I actually didn't know that last little point there. That's good to know, though.
Oh yeah, it's a very competitive car. Another thing that is also worth mentioning about the Honda that is very special, that is no other car in this game is anywhere close to it. It has the most advanced suspension when it comes to setup choice. It has 17 different wheel rate settings, which is unheard of in this game. So you can very much fine-tune the suspension as the way you want it to.
Okay. Well, we're starting to get
Nick Swartz with a good lap in.
Yep, we're starting to see our lap times coming across right now. So right now, provisional fastest lap is going to be out of Nick Schwartz with a 129.1, followed by M. Tutta in the Ferrari. That's going to be a 129.4, and then in third place, provisional third place, excuse me, Trev Hummer gets across to the 130.9.
Yeah, he got a better start than he did in the Paul Ricard race that I commentated on. He had some issues in there and didn't really get the Honda to hook up back in that race, but it looks like he's a bit more in tune with the car in this race. The big question on my mind is actually how are the Nissans going to handle it, because people might think that the Nissan is a good curve handling car, but it really isn't. It's not particularly good over curves. Its strength is actually corner exit, because you can put it in second gear and just let it go. So it's going to be interesting to see how much they can gain throughout, for an example, turn 1 and turn 2, whilst how much they lose through the chicanes compared to, for an example, the BMWs, the Mercedes and the Bentleys.
Got our eyes on Cody Barrett about to start cross the start-finish line with a 2-second improvement on his previous lap, moving him up into 5th place with a 1:30.5. Another driver with a pretty big improvement. Right now on this lap is going to be Arthur Chu. Has 9 tenths in the Delta. Might be able to find another 10th coming around the final corner, coming up the start-finish straight here. Doesn't look like he's going to connect it, but he's got 9 tenths in the Delta, and that is going to be enough to move him up into 4th place with a 1:30.285, just a couple of hundredths away from 3rd place.
It's very close between 3rd and 5th there in the unprocessed. Something Lab manages to put it into 3rd. Yeah, the BMW is very strong around here because it has so much initial turn-in and can handle the curbs fairly well. So the M4 is a very strong car around here. Gonna be interesting to see what the pros can muster in that car.
I'm curious about the same thing. Give me just 1 second here. Gonna fix a little bit of an audio thing going on.
Understood.
That should be a little bit better.
Is it on my end? Should I talk so people can hear?
No, apparently the audio settings in the game reset themselves, and so everything was at 100%, so it was deafening the two of us, but should be better now.
Oh,
I'll keep an eye on chat, and if you guys are in the Twitch chat, let me know. We should be a little bit more audible now.
Sounds good, sounds good. Well, good thing that you noticed it. Myself didn't notice that chat told me that my co-commentator for Paul Ricard couldn't be heard. So, yeah.
Interesting.
I commentated a race and was playing fiddle to a guy that no one heard.
Oh no. I've done the same thing. It does happen. All right, let's take a look around the grid right now. Tim Wilkins currently up 8 tenths, and we're catching it right at the end of the lap. Going to move himself from 17th up to 15th for a 2-position gain with a 1:32.0. Right now, Matthias Tudda currently on pace to set the fastest session lap. Right now, 3 tenths, and it is hanging on by a thread. I'm watching it go from purple to green back and forth as he comes around that first chicane. We'll see if he's able to hang on to it coming up and over the hill into the second chicane.
As he goes into the second chicane, he goes a little bit wide in my liking, but he kind of gets a good line going onto the exit, but he hits the solstice curbs, and you don't want to do that in a mid-engine car. It really just throws you out of line, and you end up in the gravel. So that lap is sadly for him done, and he have to go for another one. The problem is, I think, personally, if you hit that curb once or twice in qualifying, I honestly think that you should just return to pits and get new tires, because that curb really destroys your tires quickly, when it comes to pressures at least.
Especially at the start, I mean, with the new tire model, with them taking so long to get up into their operating range now, it is really easy to squeeze the pressure out of those tires.
Yeah, if you hit curbs too hard, especially on your outlap, you're ruining your tires for an entire stint. So previously you didn't really have to think too much about tire wear, but now you really have to think like how you're treating your tires, because if you're burning up your tires in the first 2 or 3 outlaps when they're not up to either working temperature or pressure, you'll gain graining instantly, and it'll just progressively get worse the longer into the stints you get. Thankfully for these guys, they have a pit window in the middle of the race, which kind of not really nullifies, but it lessens the issue, if we can call it. Oh, as Matthias Tudda spins in the first chicane, but it doesn't. It looks like he got running again. Is he gonna get in the way? No, he doesn't. So that's good. Perfect.
Nick Schwartz currently out there, not happy enough with the first session best lap that they set. Now he's going to come across the line with a 1/10 improvement with a 1:28.970. And I believe that is going to be our best AM time, unless Matthias Tudda has enough time to get out for another lap, but it's not looking like it with only 45 seconds left on the clock.
I doubt that he'll be able to do another one.
Trev Hummer, 6 tenths, coming across the start-finish line. That is going to be a big improvement. 1:30.3 to a 1:29.7, moving them up into 3rd place.
That's a good lap by Trev.
Got a question in the chat. How's the championship looking? Well, let me take a look, because I don't know off the top of my head.
I think that currently it's either Javier Marquez or who's the other McLaren guy who has been quick?
So there's Marquez.
Is it Matty Byrne?
I think it's Matty Byrne. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think that Mike Jones is in a decent position. The issue for him was that he missed a round, so that hampers his points gaining quite a bit, honestly. But the thing that I'm really gonna be looking forward to is lap 1. 39 GT3 cars on a track that GT3 cars aren't really supposed to be at.
No.
It's gonna be hilarious to see how bad it's gonna be. As we see Lloyd actually managing to pass Hummer at the end there by 5 hundredths. So good job on Lloyd there.
Are people allowed to join mid-season? I believe so.
If spots are open, yes.
Yeah. Also, what's up, Nate? Glad to see you in the chat, my boy.
Actually, should I put up the chat somewhere so I have it as well?
I just have it up on my phone just so I can peek at it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do the same here.
All right, I am working on getting the championship set up here. I don't know that I'm going to be able to have a slide set up for it for this stream, but thank you for the note. I've written it down. I'll have something prepared for next week. All right, let's take a look at these standings. So, once it loads
Let's
up...
follow Cookie. I did some setup work with him before, and he said that the car felt a lot better. So I'd be curious to see how he's doing.
Yeah, right now in the pit. So once I see him get out on the track, we'll flip over there. Right now we're on we've got Javier Marquez on the camera, and right now it looks like the sun's starting to peek out from behind the clouds. Noticing the lighting's changing a little bit. We might actually get a little bit of changing track conditions mid-quali.
Okay, Cookie's out of the pits now, but he's not going to be on a lap, so let's not follow him.
All right, and then an update on the standings. So you were correct. In first place, it is going to be Javier Marquez, who we've got on camera right now, followed by Matty Byrne, who's 10 points behind. Mike Jones in third at 61 points. That's 8 points behind Matty Byrne, followed by Daniel Wright in fourth, Mathis LePage in fifth, Andrew Jaski in sixth, Ice Tin in seventh, Andre Alfonso in eighth, Dylan Kaiser in ninth, and Spencer Brown in 10th. That is going to be the top 10 of the Pro Split. And the AM Split, we've got Matthias Tutta in first, Chuck Ho in second, Andre Lloyd in third, Max Sunt in lap 4, Niall Drake 5, Rick Reeder 6, Nick Schwartz 7, Cody Barrett 8, Jeff Fleischman 9, and Jonathan Boscato in 10th. And like I said, I'll have a slide prepared for that for next week, so you don't have to listen to me try and mispronounce names. Sword and Keyboard in the chat, go Kimball and Hopkins. Whole bunch of emotes after that. Good to have some cheerleaders in the chat, you love to see it. Let's see here. It looks like we're about to have a lap finished here by Craig Bray coming across the line.
He's starting his lap.
Oh, is he starting his lap? Okay, that's the start of Craig Bray's lap. Good luck, sir.
Do we have someone who's actually on the lap now?
There looks like there's a handful of them getting ready to fit. Oops, Spencer Brown goes off track. I thought they were on a hot lap. Maybe Matt Byrne? Let's see. Yep, so Matty Burns comes across the line with a 129.3 to set the first time of the Pro Split, followed immediately by Mike Jones, who sets a 128.9, snagging first place from Nick Schwartz by just 7/100ths of a second.
That also shows how good Schwartz's lap actually was, because Mike Jones, from what I've gathered, sadly I've not seen all of the races, but I've heard that Mike Jones have been very dominant, at least in qualifying with the races he's done. And then to be an AM driver and only be 700 up, that's a really good job. Even though it's just Jones's first flying lap, it's still very good by Schwartz there.
For sure, yeah. And Schwartz has been having some remarkable performances this season. I wouldn't be surprised with the kind of hinted at rework of how we'll be doing the Pro-Am splits. I'd be surprised if Schwartz is not promoted up into the Pro license. It certainly has earned it this season.
Yes,
in my humble opinion.
It goes into 12th. So he is further down than I remember him being. Who is Spangler? That's a guy I haven't seen before. Has he been doing any races? And he's racing under my number as well, so now I have to root for him.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they actually believe they just joined up. I recognize the name. Okay. Let me take a look in chat.
Okay.
Sword and Keyboard, I'll be back for the next race. Just feeling tired the last 2 to 3 weeks. Been there. Mr. Willie Owens in the chat, everybody.
Also, Cookie has put it into 10th and is on his second flying lap now, going through turn, I think that's turn 3, going in towards turn 4, which leads up to the back straight. And looks nice and tidy. Kind of following on the POV to see how it goes for him.
Who are we watching?
Cookie.
All right,
Going
let's
into the first chicane, a little bit too much on the curves, but he's dropping a bit of time. Probably going to be about 2/10 up going into the second chicane. Nice and tight in there. You don't want to run wide. A little bit too much curve on the outside and a little bit too much speed in. You want to slow in, fast out basically, and you want to be able to go full throttle on corner exit here and be full throttle all the way down to the hairpin that is a bit further into the track. Coming into the hairpin, then brake at the 100-meter board. Go down to first, be tight and early on throttle. Basically be slow in, fast out, and be as early on throttle as you possibly can. For the final chicane here, you brake a little bit after the 100-meter board, and you want to go down to first. That's a disconnect.
Oh, wow, I'm glad we caught that on stream. Somebody clipped that in the chat. That was fascinating to watch. All right, let's get back to the TV cameras and never have that happen again.
Yeah, that was interesting.
All right, everybody needs to...
Mike Jones improving by 6, 7... Oh, he's improving by quite a bit because apparently his final corner was awful in his best lap. So he improved by 3/10 just then.
Let's see. Oh, Spangler's from Delta. I knew that too. Jeff Spangler. So from one of our... I don't know if it's a sister league, but definitely some friends of ours here at Apollo. Oh,
yeah. I've seen their... I think it was their... what should I call it? I think it was 6 hour of Imola they were flagging about earlier.
Yeah, I think so. In fact, I think I participated
a long time ago.
I used to drive with Delta. I've also driven with Zealous Racing League when I was first starting. And actually, we have a guest from their league here today.
Oh, we also see that Paul Wallenstein, someone that we haven't really been seeing a lot of as of late, has put it up into 10th in his Bentley. It's a very solid try by him there.
With a 129.62, that is going to be a competitive time. Let me get back.
I think we have another disconnect. It looked like, looks like Eric Chang's game either crashed or disconnected because he just disappeared.
And just like that, 39 is down to 37.
Yep. Gonna see if people come back in, though.
Thank you very much, Mr. Willie Owens. You gotta love when you catch those things on camera. You love it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you? Okay, I see what happened there. All right. If I had Twitch open on my computer, I could have prevented it from you. Yeah. Yep. Nope. That's fine. Just do me a favor. DM me the clip link in Discord. I'll make sure it gets added to the clips channel in the Apollo Discord. Or actually, you don't need to do that because I can just go to the channel and pull the clips from there. I'm smart. I know how to use Twitch. I've totally been doing this. Dylan Kaiser, 6/10, 7/10 up in the Delta as they come around the second chicane. Chasing down a Ferrari by the looks of it. I think that's Craig Bray out in front of them.
Yeah, it should be. Craig's not in a particularly good lap at the moment, so hopefully he doesn't hold up Dylan as they come closer towards the start finishing straight and chicane.
We'll see.
Where are the Nissans? Oh my god, Niall Drake is ahead of Tommy Cogan.
Is that right? You're not wrong.
Yes.
Wow.
Then I told you that the Nissans might be struggling around here, and I was not wrong. I thought that would be the case because I've heard rumors that the Nissan is just absolutely undrivable when the tracks have high curbs, and it seems to be the case. And I think the reason for it is just because of how it's built. It's very like narrow and tall, a bit like the Bentley, but the Bentley is the better platform from what I've gathered. And therefore, when you hit the curb, it just destabilizes the car's basically weight balance too much, and it becomes shit. To put it bluntly.
Yeah, fair enough.
Schwartz's time is still good for second though, and it's like he's 1/10 away from Byrne.
Yeah,
it's very solid, very solid. Oh, we have a car in the wall in front of Jones. He gets out of the way. Afonso had pipped Schwartz to P2. That's also a decent time by Afonso there. Good job.
Yep. Snags away second from Nick Schwartz, who is still on the podium.
Yeah. Javier Marquez is also going up to 4th just now. So, oh, here we go. This is going to be a bit better lap time from Mike Jones here. It's 2.5 tenths up to finish off qualifying, and that's definitely going to be pole for him.
Yeah.
Pole by 0.5 second. That's very dominant. And a good showing for a fellow Honda driver. I'm happy to see that the Honda is actually... Oh, LePage! From out of nowhere in the Porsche, which is not supposed to be particularly good around there, puts it up to second. That's a very solid lap time for the 911 Porsche.
Yeah, and that is, wow. And actually, if you look at just how tight those timings are there, in between second and third place, there are just 3/1000ths of a second between those two drivers. And something I like to draw our attention to as often as I can, look at the timing between all of our top 10 drivers, starting at S. Brown over there on the left. Only 0.8 away from our current leader. And let's see, the next, down to 23 within 2 seconds, or within a second of that even. So it's gonna be a tight grid. It is gonna be a very exciting race to watch here.
Oh yeah, but the sad part here for LePage is I actually don't think that he is in a good position here. Because the Porsche, yes, it has good launch, but he's on the outside against a BMW and a Honda who both have really good starting, like, gearing, if we can call it that.
Sure.
So it's going to be interesting to see if he's just going to get bullied and pushed wide into turn 1, because that might happen if Afonso is, well, if he gets a good start and manages to get the inside line before LePage. That's going to be interesting to see.
Interesting for sure. We will get to find out what that's going to look like here in just a little bit as we are finished with this quali session. So a final update on our standings. We've got Mike Jones in first with a very commanding lead of almost a half second from second place of Mathis LePage, followed by Andre Alfonso, just a couple of thousandths of a second to keep him on the podium. Nick Schwartz, the AM driver, barely has his podium start dashed, his hopes dashed by Andre Alfonso by a couple of tenths, followed by Javier Marquez in 5th, Aiden Hasselbrock in 6th, Matty Byrne in 7th, Jeff Spangler in 8th, Daniel Wright in 9th, and Spencer Brown to round out the top 10. All right, any predictions?
Mike Jones will win this race. His qualifying was way too dominant to not win unless he crashes, which I don't think he will. If he just manages his pace and does his pit stops at convenient times, he'll win this race. Other than that, I think that we're going to see 2 Hondas in the top 10, because I think that Hummer's going to be able to sneak his way into the top 10 after a few laps, because there's so many. Well, for example, the McLarens are incredibly sketchy over all of the curves, and Ferrari can be so as well. So perhaps you can be able to sneak his way through. So I think that Hummer's going to get a top 10, and the overall podium is going to be Jones, Afonso, Schwartz. I think LePage is going to drop back just because of how strong the BMWs are around here.
Yeah. Sorry about this, folks. For whatever reason, my free cam button isn't working. It's taking screenshots instead. I'm trying to get... There we go. All right, I did it. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at these cars. Again, we do custom liveries here at Apollo Racing Club. So each of these drivers has put in quite a bit of time to make these cars look exactly how they want to. And look at this grid, folks. 35 cars, I think, was the final tally after the last of the disconnects. Fred, if you wouldn't mind double-checking that number for me. But right now, these drivers are going to be making the last of their setup changes. Anything that they wanted to do or didn't think felt right during quali, this is their last opportunity to make any changes to the car. And then it's race time, folks.
Yep, 38 cars on the grid. I think that Eric Chang has dropped out because for the 3rd race in a row he has had a computer crash. So I think it's some hardware issue for him, and so he's not going to do this race.
That is unfortunate. And Eric Chang's been having a very good season otherwise. Driving has been excellent.
Okay, now I've sadly missed the races, so I've not really seen how his races have gone, but that's good to hear. A guy that I helped out a lot 2 seasons ago whenever I think he ended up finishing... Did he win or did he finish 2nd in...
I think he won it.
That
I think he won last season, AM split.
Oh, perfect. So yeah, I've had good contacts with him, and he's a good guy. Very good guy.
All right, I hear engines
So what's your
starting.
prediction?
Oh,
What is your prediction, since we have a entire outlap to, or pace lap to?
Yeah, I think that you're probably right with Mike Jones' performance. I mean, save for maybe some unlucky backmarker interactions, probably going to run away with
those
this
sort of
one.
thing.
But what I'm really excited to see is this drag race between the BMW and this Porsche on the outside of the grid, because you are correct in thinking that that is going to be, it's a difficult mashup for that Porsche. Because that BMW, even with the starting power that BMW has, he will catch up to that Porsche by the time that he gets there, and he's going to have a weird line through turn 1, and turn 2 is going to be worse.
Yep. What I'm hoping a bit is that, for LePage's sake, that Afonso gets a bit of a compromise start, just so LePage can maybe cover him off at least. So basically doesn't give Afonso the opportunity to dive down the inside. But at the same time, if he does that, Schwartz can maybe get a really good exit and go down the inside into turn 2. So there's many layers to this that could go wrong for LePage here. So he needs to be on his heels whenever the race starts. We also see Aiden Hasselbrock sneaking into the top 6 there in 6th place in the Lamborghini, which is very interesting. Never really seen Lamborghinis do particularly well around here. And then Lexus is also up here, that's cool.
Yeah, we definitely have a good spread of cars this season. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, Daniel Wright all the way down into 9th, so I guess the Mercedes isn't really treating him too well. And one thing mentioning, in the last patch that they reworked the bump stops and they reworked how tow works again, the Mercedes got considerably worse, we noticed with our testing. So that car is not really a top car anymore.
That is certainly going to upset some people, that's for sure.
Oh, yep.
What are your what are your feelings on the new cars that were just added to the game? I don't think I've had the chance to talk to you about the Challenger pack.
Oh god, I've not driven any single car besides the Evo 2. As you know, I am religiously a GT3 driver, so I've not tried any of the other cars. The Ferraris looks fun just because of its top speed, and I guess the racing in the M2 is probably incredibly fun just because no arrows, the damage doesn't really matter, and everyone's in the same car, and so it's probably good racing, but I don't see myself driving any of the cars in the coming future just because I'm so both invested and busy with the GT3 cars nowadays. So yeah. I think that's the case. Although I did do a old Cup car race before the patch got released, and I had a good laugh with the German community. So yeah, but now we're coming up to the start finishing straight here, as Mike Jones should lead us to the start line. One thing that's worth mentioning here is also for the start is that it's not the start line. I think it's the control line that gives you the green light, but I'm not sure.
I believe you're correct. Yeah.
Mike Jones is a little bit far there.
Oh, but there it is. There's the green light, and we are going this race here at Zolder. The hour clock has started ticking down as we come into turn 1. We see that Porsche really dives around that corner. Actually handled it excellently, and now he's in contention to fight Mike Jones coming up into the second corner.
Yeah, and
the BMW gets spun around by, it looks like Nick Schwartz got a little bit of contact on the back end of the other BMW up in 3rd place. That is going to be a position gain for them. A little bit of drama in the middle of the field. We'll keep trying to get the camera back there as we watch this pack spread out. Things are already heating up now. 4 corners into Zolder. Oh, and we've got a Lamborghini getting a little bit loose, and he collects the Bentley as he tries to get the control of the car again. And that is going to be a pretty big accident in the back of the pack there.
Yeah, so Billy Carlin has gotten picked up there. Jan Stam is sitting in the gravel pit. Aaron Hill has tons of damage on the front of his car. And Roadside Cook's car is also pretty much borked at this point. That is a very bad start for these at least 3 drivers. I don't know if anyone else got collected into it. I don't think anyone else is left yet because there's still 38 cars on track.
Well, just looking at the paint jobs on some of these cars, it looks like
we have contact going into the second chicane as well. But it was only a little bump on the rear. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good.
All right. It's an exciting race already. Let's go ahead and take a look at the front of the pack. Mike Jones, Matthias LePage, and Nick Schwartz are going to be our top 3 for the moment, followed by Aiden Hasselbrock, Jeff Spangler, Spencer Brown, and Javier Marquez. And that is going to be 1 lap at Zolder done already. They come fast. We got another yellow flag, the number 60 car at the hairpin. It looks like they teleported back to the pits. And the number 6 car is off too.
So Hopkins and Cats. Yeah, they are both going very slowly or standing still. And
There we
Jan
go.
Stam is parked up in the pits as well, so I think he's finished for the night. His race lost its 3 corners. Good move there by Tommy Cogan on the switch back on Tim Wilkins as well, going into turn 1. I don't think Tim is in a position to fight Tommy. Tommy seems to have some pace at least going on at the moment. So we also see Paul Ballenstein has dropped back quite a bit, which is sad for him. Also a winner in the opening lapper is Dylan Kaiser, as they managed to gain, I think it's at least 6 positions in the opening laps there, with all the mayhem happening around them.
Whoa, Mathis LePage just skips the second chicane there. Probably the correct decision to avoid an accident.
It looks like Hasselbrock also went a little bit wide there and lost the position to Spangler.
The battle for that position is not yet over, and look at how tight this grid is still, folks. 2.5 laps into this race, and we've still got about 10 cars stacked on top of one another, battling it out right now for 4th place.
It also looks like Mike Jones is starting to pull a bit of a gap here, but LePage is also put a gap on Schwartz here, who's leading in the train of the rest of the cars. But yeah, Jones has gotten a really solid start, but LePage is not super duper far back yet. It only takes one mistake going into, for an example, the chicanes for it to be for Jones's lead to be in a bad spot, basically.
Let's see here. Cody Barrett picks up a position on Arthur Chu. Oh, car number 404 picks up a stop and go 30 for speeding in pit lane. What are they? Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh no, that's Trev Hum. No, oh, that my bet on his top 10 went to shit instantly. Sorry for the language. Yeah, the commentator's curse. I am sorry, Trev.
Well, there's not a lot that can be done about it now, but get back out on that track. It's early enough in this race. That is quite the penalty, but there's still plenty of time to salvage a race out of it. Still 56 minutes here left at Zolder.
Afonso trying to crawl it back, is up into 11th now. I don't know how far he dropped back, but he got a position now on Yaski going into the second chicane with some good car positioning, basically squeezing Jaski on to get the outside line going into the second chicane. Javier Marquez has also lost out a bit. He's down into 7th and has to pass a BMW, which is not the easiest thing to do on this track.
Ooh, the number 62 car picks up a stop and go 30.
Ooh, yeah, the pit lane here is a bit strange because it basically doesn't start until super late, and it might be hard to actually see the board sometimes, depending on what angle you come into the pit lane on. So, yeah. I've seen a lot of stuff.
Oh, Javier Marquez almost loses the back end coming around the first corner, gets it out of the sand, manages to sturdy it back up and get the car going the right way, but does lose a position in the process.
He's going to take it back, though. Todd overshot the next corner, so yeah. The question is Todd going to be able to keep it here with that Mercedes looks so cumbersome compared to the Ferrari and the McLaren, at least. Put into the first chicane, and you can see how much the Ferrari is struggling to take the curves compared to, for an example, the Mercedes that now has a run going into the second chicane. But it looks, yeah, that Mercedes looks so heavy. It looks understeery and a real pain to drive going into some of the faster sections of the track. So, yeah, maybe not enough rake on the car. Just rotation on throttle seems to be an issue. As we see, oh, there we go. Spencer Brown going for a dive on Hasselbrock, who taps Brown a little bit on the rear, but it looks like Brown is still able to keep the position going into the final chicane. Kind of looks like Hasselbrock is in a position to go for a dive, and he probably should take the inside line.
And he does.
Question is, well, Brown still sticks it around the inside. He gets the inside line going into.
Oh, but look at the exit that the Lamborghini got, though. Almost looks like the BMW is standing still.
Yeah, that should be the position back to Hasselbrock, unless something happened. That's a bit naughty, though, just cutting back in front. That's a really bad exit by Aiden, though. Whilst that is happening, Javier Marquez is now into the mix, as Spencer Brown takes a very defensive position, as then Marquez tries to set up for the corner exit. It looks like he's going to have he's definitely going to have the inside line going into turn 4. But he is early on the brakes. He's way too early on the brakes for my liking, Marcus. You're too nice. And that might actually lose him a position to Toda, because Toda gets a good run going out of turn 4. And the Ferrari is good bob, so it should have a lot of straight line speed. But it doesn't look like anything is going to happen at that point.
Nope, and the battle rages on. We still have several trains all over the track. It's difficult to try and find where to watch, as actually Matty Burns picks up a position on Andre Lloyd, it looks like, coming up over the hill into the second chicane. Yep, and that is going to be a position gained for Matt Byrne in the McLaren.
One of the losers at the start. I think Matty Byrne started, was it 4th or 5th or something like that?
Yeah.
It's down to 13th now.
Actually, I can tell you exactly where he started. Matty Byrne started in 7th.
7th, that still dropped back quite a bit. Anything interesting going on at the back of the field? Where's the age-old battle? It's been contact there. It's been contact. 3 cars, Anton Lap, Fleischmann and Liam McNeil seems to be in a bit of a crash going into the hairpin, but they are all back up and running again.
Yep, looks like it was just minor contact.
What I was gonna say is, where's the age-old battle between Alan Sue and Tim Wilkins? But it looks like Tim is currently occupied by Josh Kimball, as Kimball goes very close to the rear of Wilkins, but he manages to stay out of it. Cookie has repaired his car and is back up and running again, is already up to 28th, which is fairly good job by him, honestly, considering that he looked like at least that he had some major damage on his car, and it's already caught up to Alan Sue. Oh no, he has not repaired the car is still broken, my bad. Let's see, what else do we have going on around
so
the
it looks
track?
like
We have contact again. It's that Javier Marquez. That is Javier Marquez spun around in the hairpin, and he has to stay still because the track is so narrow so he can't rejoin. I don't really know what happened. I'm gonna go back and watch.
Yeah, let us know what happened there. Looks like Matthias Tuda also loses a position in that exchange, and it does look like Jeff Spangler has taken 3rd place away from Nick Schwartz. Nick Schwartz still battling, hanging on for 4th place. And actually,
Javier Marquez got tagged by Tuda from behind. Like, Tuda basically misjudged his braking point and spun Javier Marquez around, but Tuda himself managed to keep going after he hit Marquez, and that basically so he was able to rejoin at a later stage of the track, whilst Marquez was stuck in the gravel trap and had to wait for traffic to go by. So Marquez is now down to 17th. That is a very hard hit for his championship contention.
Andre Alfonso getting real close to the back of Dylan Kaiser there in the second chicane. Gives a little bit of space coming around the exit corner there. Now coming around the, coming down the straight into the hairpin here. Does well not to rear end the car out in front, but this is going to be a battle of BMWs here as they come around the hairpin now up into the final couple of corners here. See,
Toby's going to be very strong since they're in the same car. Looks like, from what I can see, is that Afonso has a little bit more pace than Dylan at this point. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we see Afonso get by Dylan in the next, maybe even the next corner, because he's not really in a striking position. Turn 1 is not really an overtaking spot, in my opinion. The only real overtaking spot on this track is either if you can bully someone going into the first chicane, or in the hairpin after the second chicane. They're like the 2 positions where I'd say that you're actually kind of able to overtake people.
Oh, just 2 cars behind. Andrew Jaski and Matty Byrne are battling it out right now. BMW versus McLaren. It is very close between these 2 cars, and we can see that Matty Byrne's behind is hitting him with the blinkers. Looks at the inside, doesn't have the room to make anything happen. It's going to have to wait until after the chicane here. Jaski really eats that curve well, and they're going to charge up over the hill into the second chicane.
Craig Craig Bray off the track, he has had a nightmare of a race thus far, from what I can see.
Man, that McLaren is just glued to the back of that BMW.
As we see, Dylan Kaiser's caught up to Daniel Wright now all of a sudden, as Afonso has dropped back a little bit. And let's see if they're able to get by here, because that Mercedes just looked very sluggish, to me at least.
All right, Andrew Jaski and Matty Byrne goes up the inside in the second to last corner, and he does get the pass and is very likely to hang on to it. Yeah, definitely makes it happen. And then McLaren's going to run away now.
Yeah, I don't think that Jaski is ever going to see Matt Byrne again. Judging by the pace difference that seems to be around, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
There's only 4/10 between the two of their best laps, so really it could be anybody's race, depending.
That's true. That is true. Now we see Alan Sue and Roadside Cookie being really close to each other. If you go back to them, it is super close going into turn 1. And Alan, I don't know if he lifted or what he did there, but Cookie just got really close to him, and Alan is wide and kind of clips the curb in an awkward way, but it manages to keep it on track. I don't know, we know that Cookie has a lot of front end damage after the bigger crash that happened at the start of the race, but at the same time it kind of looks like Alan is suffering from more understeer than Cookie does at the moment.
Even with all the front damage on that Lamborghini would suggest he'd be having the harder time of it, but still.
Yeah, we also have a good battle between Billy Carlin and Marco Vogt. How do you know how to pronounce it?
I think you got it. I think it's Vogt.
Okay. Very close between them at the moment, so that's also something that could be interesting to watch. But I don't think that anything will happen here in a few corners time.
Max Sunkenlap, Jeff Fleischman, and Liam McNeil currently battling it out for 22nd place. Very close between these three cars. Just a second separating all three of them. So they come into the second to last corner there. Ooh. Jeff Fleischman really eager to try and catch that McLaren. Brakes late, not able to make the pass happen, not close enough to even be in striking distance.
Matty Byrne has gone down the inside of Afonso now, so Matty Byrne is up to it's up to 9th now after a good move on Afonso. I think Afonso got a little bit too wide going out of turn 3. Sorry?
Liam McNeil, the back end of the McLaren, got a little unruly there in turn 1, which does allow Jeff Fleischman to cinch up on that car up in front, and this chase has gotten just a little bit closer now, just 3/10 between these two cars, 3/10 between Jeff Fleischman and Max Sunkenlap, the BMW just behind that Ferrari.
Yeah,
and this battle of three is going to come.
There.
Yeah, it might happen.
Why did you back up? You would have been able to bully him from the inside there. I can now also proudly announce that all of the cones that are in the second chicane to tell you what the track limits are gone. Expect us to soon see some drive-throughs coming through.
Ooh, that was pretty close by Fleischman right there. I don't know if you caught that one, but that was real far inside on the corner.
Probably a track limit warning. I usually say that if you have 3 resources to use, so use them wisely.
Yeah, exactly. XE in the chat, hi guys, my race is over. My graphics card kept trying to reset my display resolution. You hate to see it.
That's really shitty.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's one of the most irritating ones, because the computer's just hung there while it's trying to figure out what resolution it wants to display in. Sorry to hear it. That's bad luck. Let's take a look at Matty Byrne now trying to chase down, looks like Dylan Kaiser.
Yep,
and
Kaiser's up to 8th.
Performance is up this far as passing cars has been. Dylan Kaiser's got their work cut out for them. With that highlighter yellow McLaren hot on the tail.
No, one thing that is worth mentioning is that not a lot is really going on at the front of the field at the moment. Mike Jones has managed to pull out a 8-second gap to LePage, but Sprangler's keeping up to LePage here. It's within a second, so we might have something coming up for P2 quite soon. We'll see. Now Drake is close to Javier Marquez from what I can see on my little radar. Oh, it's very close in the final chicane. As between 4 cars with, I think it's Andre Lloyd at the front of that little pack.
Yep, in the Porsche.
Yep. Still just so impressed that Niall manages to keep decent pace with the controller in the simulator. Oh, okay. Javier Marquez is probably there's
a little bit of contact. Oh, there's gonna be more there.
That's a lot of contact. That's gonna let Niall Drake through at least past 1 car. That was not good by Javier Marquez. I'd confidently say that was on Marquez's fault. But there is Niall Drake you're sending up on a really nice switchback on Javier. Let's see if Lloyd loses even more positions as we think. I think it's Boscato coming up, and yes, he loses yet another position, and Andre gets pushed out into the sand, and sadly has lost 3 positions in the span of 3 corners. That's a very unfortunate sequence of corners for him.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. That's just that, but that's racing. That's unfortunate, but that's gonna be fought in the reports channel later.
Oh yeah, Javier should, in my opinion, get 1 penalty point or a 5-second penalty for basically punt to pass. If we had live stewarding, or if I were doing live stewarding, that would have been a 5-second penalty on the pit stop, in my opinion. Or 5-second penalty. So,
that's probably right around where I would put it as well. Matt Byrne still trying to get around Dylan Kaiser, who's putting up one hell of a fight. That McLaren just not able to get around the BMW, and he's really trying. Dylan using almost all the track to try and prevent the pass, and there's gonna be contact between the 2 of them. Dylan Kaiser turns across Matt Byrne and almost spins him around.
And that's gonna let Afonso just take the position back. That's a thing that is a bit frustrating with this game. Is usually when you're on the inside of a car, in real racing, you have the advantage if contact were to happen, because just how gravity works. But in this game, if you touch someone and you're on the inside, you are the one that is likely to spin if you hit it with the front of your car, which is so strange. But hopefully they'll get that fixed.
A lot of needless contact tonight. Yeah, there's some rough racing going on right now. It's almost like watching GT4s.
I wouldn't really call it needless contact though, because the track is so narrow, so it's going to be a little bit archy-barchy here, which it's extremely exciting to look at, but it's extremely annoying to drive.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair.
I just want to mention that Sprangler has gotten basically on the bumper now on the page, and is very close in that Primus Flexus, sorry. Yeah, and he's racing in my number, so I'm rooting for him here.
Oh, looks at the inside, not quite able to make it happen. That Porsche just had too much speed to carry through around that corner. Lex is gonna have to try it coming around another corner here, coming into turn 4, and then they're gonna have the straight into the first chicane. Although it does look like that Porsche's pulled enough of a gap that I don't think he's gonna be within striking distance for a couple of corners. And there is the pit window open. That means there is 40 minutes left in this race, 20 minutes down, and we are 13 laps in so far.
Yeah. One thing on this track is catching up with people, but it's a completely different beast to actually overtake people. It's very hard to get by because the track is so narrow, and it's very limited overtaking opportunities. Because they basically go into the section there LePage and Sprangler is right now. Or Spangler, sorry.
There's massive contact between Aiden Hasselbrock and Nick Schwartz in the second chicane. Aiden Hasselbrock goes for the pass on the outside, and there's contact and spins the Lamborghini around that is still struggling to get back out on track.
Yeah, I see his parked there at the exit of this of the first part of the second chicane, and hopefully gets out of the way because Niall Drake Niall has to slam on the brakes. That's, in my eyes, not maybe the best rejoin, but at the same time he was stranded there for a long time, so I fully understand that he wanted to get out of that position as soon as possible. But yeah, I sadly missed it, so hopefully whoever wasn't at fault doesn't have too much damage.
So in the chat, different opinions for me to see passing without the Dale Earnhardt approach. I feel ya, and then the question that, why passing the chicane? Did I just see a car fly off of the chicane there?
Well,
I think I did.
I usually running joke among me and my friends is basically take the manufacturer and then space program afterwards, because this track just sends cars flying. And also, in my opinion, this track is just RNG if you if you get track limits on the chicanes, because it's impossible to be consistent through them, and it's very annoying.
Sure. Matt Burns gonna have another chance at the at passing Dylan Kaiser, as he has already caught up to the rear bumper of that BMW for a second time.
Oh no, Cookie has to stop go 30 for speeding in the pit lane.
That is the third one that has been handed out this race. That is bad news for our drivers.
Yep. We're not in any drive-throughs yet, which is interesting. I thought that we'd see a lot more. Oh, Liam McNeil and Mark Suntonlap. It's very close going into the first chicane, but I think Suntonlap thought the better of it and did not go for a sun. But at the same time, we can see that McNeil had it compromised exit, but so did Suntonlap. So I don't think anything's going to happen anytime soon here. So Fleischmann has pulled a bit of a gap now on McNeil and Sunton. Oh, it's very close still. Very close, but no, nothing should happen here. No, nothing was going to happen.
Matt Burns still within 0.2 of a second from Dylan Kaiser, and they're going to go into a drag race coming down into the first corner. Matt Burns going to tuck in behind the BMW for turn one.
Cody
Maybe
Barrett's
try
going
something in
very
turn
slow.
two.
Cody Barrett going very slow. Something must have happened. I missed it. I just saw that it was very slow going out of the hairpin in the final sector.
Oh, that is very tight racing between Dylan Kaiser and Matt Burns. Right now they are going to be they're side to side, wheel to wheel, coming into the first chicane, and I can only imagine this is going to be a disaster.
No.
Oh, Matt Burns
like
gets out in
Dylan,
front. Yep, and Dylan's going to concede the position to Matt Burns.
Yep. Burns seems to have really good pace, and he is actually might be in position for a pole. Oh, who is that parked in sand there?
Not sure.
I think that person, whoever was
It was
left.
number 63 car. I'm looking.
It looks like. I think it's Hasselbrock who's left. Yep, it's Hasselbrock who's no longer driving.
That is unfortunate.
And then we have another stop go 30 for Boscato for speeding in the pit lane.
Alright, let's look around the grid here. It looks like Tommy Kogan. That's not who's... Oh, we got the number 404 car's got a yellow flag, Trev Hummer. Oh, and we just catch it on camera as another car runs right into the side of him and spins him off the track.
Oh, I missed that completely.
And now he is just... Yeah, he's stranded out there trying to get back out on the track. There's your window. Go for it, Trev. And back out on the track in the last corner. That is unfortunate.
Yeah, and he still has a pit stop to do, so he is struggling hard right now.
Nick Schwartz under fire from Matthias Tudda, it looks like. Or actually, no, that's Ice 10.
Yep.
Yeah, it is Ice 10 behind him.
See if we have anything interesting going on. As we see, I think, sorry, go ahead.
Gonna be between Max Suntonlap and Cody Barrett at the moment. 4/10 separates these two cars. See Ferrari versus BMW as they come around the fast right-hander coming up into the first chicane. And they're gonna be chasing each other. Looks like BMW is going to get the draft, but I don't think it is faster than the Ferrari to straight line, but he sure is going to try and make it that way as they come up into the first chicane, and he gets the inside line over the first one, and the Ferrari is not able to make the cutback happen. That is going to be a position. That's a great move from Max Suntonlap for P18.
Yep, that was. Oh, that was almost
a little loose there
much
from Cody Barrett.
I was gonna say it looks like Suntonlap cut the chicane a little bit too much there, from what I saw. This is Zolder, a Belgium track and pretty much the unloved child of Belgium racetracks because they have small.
No such thing as a dumb question, my friend. Welcome to the stream. I don't think I've seen your name here before, Eris. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to Apollo Racing Club. My name's Matt. I'm joined by Fred Fosberg in the commentator's booth tonight. It's been a pleasure so far. We're 33 minutes left here at Zolder, 13 minutes remaining in the pit window. 34 cars still on the track. 32, excuse me.
Yeah, we have some cars in the pits as well, and that's I think that one of them is Dylan Kaiser, so they're gonna get their pit stop done early, which might be good depending on what the traffic looks like. And from what I can see, it's if we look at the track map, I don't know if you have it up on stream. Yeah, you do. You see on the later part of the track, there's a big pack of cars, and you don't want to get fed out after the pit stop around there. So if you pit now and come out in this big gap of cars that is currently the case, like on the start-finishing straight, that's the perfect place to be at the moment, because you get all the clear air that you could possibly want, and you'll be able to just bang in fast lap times whilst the other people are in. But Dylan Kaiser's gotten a drive-through, and this is actually a new thing that I kind of want to declare or talk about. So, if you're speeding in the pit lane when you enter, but you are not going over 20 kilometers an hour faster when you go over the control line inside of the pit lane, you don't get a stop go 30, you get a drive-through instead. That is a new thing that they added 2 patches ago.
That's a welcome adjustment.
So if you only speed a little bit, it's only a drive-through. A drive-through is still a lot. A drive-through on this track is, I think it's 74% of the track length is spent, or basically overlap time-wise is a drive-through. So a drive-through is detrimental when it comes to lap times around there.
As a matter of fact, I can actually tell you exactly how long that drive-through will take whenever Dylan Kaiser serves it. So I'll keep you updated on that. And Aries, again, no such thing as a dumb question. If you're watching this stream, you're listening to an hour of me saying dumb things. So, welcome to the club, friend. Position gained by Tommy Kogan off screen. Just got them over on camera. Looks like he got Andre Lloyd on the outside.
Kogan's still a bit of a comeback racer. Started very far back in the field, and he's managed to fight with that GTR back, and he's up to 12th now. Yeah,
started in P20. That's going to be 8 positions gained for Tommy Kogan. And actually, I need to highlight this because we haven't talked about it yet. Jeff Fleischman. Holy mother, what a race. Started in P38, back of the pack, up 23 positions.
Yeah, I mean,
Sitting in
quite
P15.
comfortably there. He doesn't really have a car behind him. He doesn't really have anything behind him or in front of him, so he's like comfortably there in 15th place. And if he can just keep this pace up, I think that he'll honestly be able to keep this position unless he botches his pit stop. And Aris, if you have any questions when it comes to ACC or racing in general, feel free to ask them, because I think both me and Matt here will be able to answer them in a fairly decent way, at least.
I'm gonna say, between the two of us, we should get it pretty well covered off. It is our job after all. And Paul Valenstein eats a little too much of that curb and does put the car off the track face first into the wall. That's about worst case scenario in the battle between him and Andrew Jaski. Jaski's gotta be feeling a breath of relief now.
And also the thing that is the most depressing about that is that he has already served his pit stop, which means that he's gonna have to do another pit stop if the car is too damaged. And that is a lot of time lost. A lot of time lost.
Fingers crossed. That's all I can say. But Andrew Jaski going to continue to try and chat. Yeah, that was the halfway call right there. That means there's still 10 minutes remaining in the pit window for our drivers to get in there and swap out their tires. I'd start thinking about it right now. Mike Jones in the pits, as is Mathis LePage, Daniel Wright, Matt Burns, Ice Tin, and Tommy Kogan. We got a lot of folks in the pits right now. That is going to be a busy pit lane.
May I say something that people... that is very sketchy now on pit entry. I've just noticed that someone has taken out that board that says where the pit limiter should be on.
Oh no.
And
it's Barcelona all over again.
The thing is, it's 2 white lines after each other. The first one is the pit limit line and the other one is the control line. The question is that, does everyone know that?
Most drivers do not.
Exactly. So we might see some stop-go 30s or drive-throughs coming up if people are not cautious.
Well, if there are going to be any, they're going to start coming out here really quick as we're watching that pack of cars leave the pits right now. Let's hop on the helicam so we can see maybe just how many. Oh, well, Matty Burns leaving pretty much on his own right now. We may have just missed the pack, but nonetheless, a lot of pit stops getting served right there. Let's take a look over at Max Sunkenlap, still fighting, trying to get around Mathis LePage, who started in 2nd place, now in 9th. Although Mac has not served a pit stop, that's why. So we're still on a staggered pit schedule.
But look at this, though. Mike Jones is not far away from LePage. Something has happened there. Mike Jones had a
longer 10-second
gap. Yeah, much longer pit stop.
Yeah, it looks like it was 39 seconds for Mike Jones, 32 for Mathis LePage. Yeah, so that 7-second gap may have had some damage, or maybe probably could have pulled a me and overshot the pit window, or I'm sorry, pit box.
Oh, this is also one of the most sketchy pit lane entries on the entire calendar, because the pit lane starts basically on the braking zone of the final chicane. So if you look at that, and when people like go into the pits, you can see that how they almost run into people who are just taking the normal racing line, and it's very sketchy to look at. LePage is lapping one of the back markers.
More, see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more cars diving into the pits right now. It's gonna be Nick Schwartz, Andre Lloyd, Max Sunkenlap, Niall Drake, and Joshua Kimball joins the group. Right now we're looking for any battles on the track. Not gonna be a whole lot of them while we're going through the pit rotation here. Oh yeah, Eric. Yeah, you got no. Don't sweat it, friend. Watching from here is way more difficult. I bet you if we were spending more time in this camera, it'd be much easier to tell what track we're at. But we try to keep it out on the TV cameras unless we're watching a specific driver. But I mean, look, think about it this way: how many times have you looked at Zolder from this perspective? This might be the first time. Maybe it's not. I wouldn't be able to guess it. The only reason why I know it is because I've driven this track so many times in the last 3 years I've been doing sim racing.
My condolences.
I like Zolder, it's fun.
It's too narrow for my liking. Fleischmann comes into the pits, hopefully doesn't overshoot the thing. Oh,
yeah, literally never, exactly, don't beat yourself up. Alright, Max Sunkenlap, Joshua Kimball leaving the pits. Cameras are getting an excellent shot of the solar panels. There's Joshua Kimball leaving the pits.
We have a drive-through for Joshua Kimball for speeding in the pit lane.
Unfortunate. Jeff Fleischmann in the pits. Arthur Chu as well into the pits. Mathis LePage on quite the lap right now. 6/10 up on their previous best. Not enough to snag session fastest from Mike Jones.
Probably... what I think it is that he's 6/10 up on his best this stint, because that thing resets after you've done a pit stop.
That's right. Thank you for the reminder.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
You're good, dude. All right, we're almost done with pit stops. Spencer Brown in. Andre Alfonso still has to serve theirs. Jeff Fleischmann is in the pits, but I believe that is everybody. Yeah, then everybody will have served at least one pit stop, and we'll have a good idea of what the standings actually are.
Yes, Fleischmann has started to make his way out, and it looks like he does not get a drive-through or anything like that. Let's see how many positions he has lost as he goes out on track now. It does not obey the white line. Good thing that that's not a rule in here. And yeah, it looks like it's a semi-decent pit stop there. He got himself
Spencer
out
Brown
without any...
Not having it. What is going on? We're now a minute in the pits now. Just came off the jacks at the 62-second mark, 64-65. Back out on the track.
Interesting. Wonder what happened there.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm using a different broadcasting app.
Yeah.
And so what it was showing me the amount of time they were in from start to finish, and then when it's over, it shows me how long they were on the jack. So it was only 34.5 seconds for them. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that sounds more reasonable.
All right, Matty Byrne Still trying to find some more positions here in 7th, chasing down Daniel Wright, who is chasing down Cody. Is that Cody Barrett? Oh, it's blue flag. Okay. I was like, man, Cody's having a race. Let's go. All right.
So Alan Su is one of the final people to service pit stop. We see that Afonso is, I think, he's the last car that hasn't done it yet. So he should probably be coming in this lap, I think. He's going through. Yeah, he has plenty of time, but he's just going through turn 4, so he's really taking this overcut strategy to heart, which is a good strat, in my opinion. Overcutting in GT3 cars is the best thing to do, because you keep your tire hits and pressures for the longest time. We also see that Todd has managed to get past Schwartz, so my bet that Schwartz will win the AM race was wrong, sadly.
Well, and that's racing. I mean, there you have it.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite things to talk about is the fact that luck is just as much a factor in sim racing as it is in real world motorsport. It really, I mean, just as many different things go wrong, but just as many things can go wrong.
As Afonso goes into the pits there. See if he manages to overshoot it since the board is gone. Does he see the line? He does. Solid. Good job, Afonso. Good job.
Right now we're watching Matt Byrne and Daniel Wright fight it out. Daniel Wright, usually a force to be reckoned with, having a hard time here at Zolder. I think a lot of it does have to do with the AMG.
Yeah, the AMG should be strong around there, but the issue is I don't think a lot of people has figured it out now after they changed the bump stops. And he is usually one guy who is arguably the fastest guy, at least when he's in his McLaren, but he is really struggling in this car now.
He's got some competition this season, is what it is.
But
let me remind you, overall, he's in 4th place.
Oh yeah, I know, but what I mean is he has been so dominant in that McLaren for so many seasons now.
True.
And once he swapped car now to the Mercedes, he has been having a bit more issues. So yeah, it's interesting to see how much a car change matters if it doesn't suit your driving style.
Looks like we had a spin from the Mercedes 603 car.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Timmy Wilkins gets it back out on the track. Actually, it wasn't a spin, excuse me. Just missed a braking marker, had to cut a bit of that last corner. But back out on the track. Doesn't lose any positions as a result. Right now, the pack is fairly spaced out. I mean, there's a couple of trains, but a lot of it is because of blue flag traffic. Right now, I'm looking for more battles for position, but right now it does look like it's between Matt Burns and Daniel Wright. Looks up the inside, thinks better of it. He's going to slap back in behind that AMG and going to take the, ooh, almost gets airborne there. Man, that actually made my heart skip a beat. When I saw the car angled like that, all I could think is when the F1 cars get angled like that and they just take off. I almost thought we were about to see it here. But no, a fairly undramatic landing there for Matt Byrne in the McLaren. But now they're coming up against some blue flag traffic here. That's the pit window closed, which means there's 20 minutes left here at Zolder. They're going to get around that Aston Martin just fine. Nice passing there.
Question right here. Oh, as we have
wrong car. There we go.
Tim Wilkins getting passed by Matthias Choda, which is lap car. Where is the battle? Oh, Alan is actually quite a bit ahead of Tim this race, so we can't see the age-old battle for the AM positions. It's been going on for God knows how many seasons now.
Well, here's a good battle going on right now between Ice Tin and Arthur Chu for 12th place. They are wheel to wheel coming up into the last two corners of the track. Tommy Kogan out in front of them, not by much though. Ice Tin is going to get it. It looks like Arthur Chu got on the brakes early there.
Yeah, they're in different classes, so they're not really fighting each other. Probably smart by Arthur to not put himself in a vulnerable position and maybe lose out more than he'd do otherwise.
That's smart.
I think actually, that Matty Byrne is very close to Daniel Wright again. I dropped back a little bit now, but yeah, we're very close going into the first chicane.
Well, this is the closest battle on track right now, Matty Byrne and Daniel Wright. coming up into the hairpin.
Yeah, that McLaren looks racy. I personally think the McLaren is pretty bad. Or oh wait, I just noticed something. Javier Marquez is not even here. Is not here anymore.
No, and I was watching Discord, so update from them, not in the chat, but essentially they're having frame rate problems after the patch. So there was some inconsistency in their ability to control the car and decided to retire.
Okay, that's not good for his championship, but I guess that he doesn't want to ruin the race for any of the other drivers, so it's a noble thing to do.
Yep. Aris, that's definitely helping a lot. I've seen some people use their feet and mimic braking and accelerating around the track too. Yeah, I mean, racing's... and Fred, you're going to correct me here because I know you know better, but I'd say 80% of it is muscle memory. And so, yeah.
I would say more than that. I would say 95% is muscle memory.
Yeah, and then Sword and Keyboard has an excellent point too in that, I've been sim racing in Assetto Corsa for about 2.5, 3 years now, but I've been playing driving games my entire life. So a lot of these tracks I've known since I was a kid.
I've started playing Assetto Corsa Competizione maybe 1.5 years ago now, and most of the tracks on this game I'd never driven before. I think the only track that I'd driven before was Spa, maybe Monza. Sure. I was fairly new into racing games, but I started loving it instantly, and now I'm fairly decent at it.
Fairly decent. He's probably one of the faster drivers in the league. If you were racing out here, you easily be top 5. Easy. Probably be fighting Mike Jones if you put the practice in.
Yeah, we did some running earlier. I was a little bit quicker.
There you go.
Not by a lot though. He has really stepped out once only got the update. He's doing a really good job. He's not far away, not at all. Like he is, in my opinion, probably one of the better North American drivers out there right now. Together with the guy who hasn't been driving here for a bit, but Andrew Warden is like the guy to beat in this league, and I think Jones would be able to do a very good job against him in equal machinery. Honestly.
For sure. We need to get the other Jones out here too. We need to get Anthony out here as well.
Oh yeah, but he doesn't have time to drive on Saturday, sadly. No, that's why he only does the GT4 stuff.
That's great.
I did some running with him as well. He's a great guy to talk to, and we did a small challenge against each other.
Yep, one of the first sim racing friends I made. I'm actually going to be visiting him here in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be going on a road trip down through for basically the entire West Coast, and he'll be one of my stops. Him and Melon Pitch and DC Spud, all three of them ride an ARC regularly.
Oh, Spud. Yeah, I killed him in the GT4 race where I got stuck behind you. I was going to do a switchback, but I swiped his rear in the high-speed stuff, so I basically spun him around at like 200 kph.
Oh man,
I'm sorry.
That's good stuff. All right, let's see here. Nick Schwartz and it looks like that's Matthews Tutta are going to be battling it out for 8th place, but Matt Byrne and Daniel Wright are still charging out as we have a yellow flag. The number 5 car of Roadside Cookie is parked out in the sand.
Is it finished?
I can't tell. It's just there's a lot of traffic right now. Might start spinning the car around right now. It's not looking good. That's not looking good.
I can't get my camera to find... Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's done. He is not driving anymore. If you're parked there, you're done.
Yeah.
Oh, he's moving again. He can still win this. Never surrender.
Just had to reboot the wheel. It's all good.
Yep. Interesting. Wonder if the wheel came loose from
all sorts of stuff can happen. I've heard all sorts. The wheel comes off table, brake pedal's been kicked across the room. You never know.
Yeah. It's so nice to have a designated like rig for it.
I know, it's so nice.
It's so nice.
Yeah, I definitely did the janky rig for. There's still pictures of it in the Discord. It was literally my computer chair was ratchet strapped to a piece of plywood, and I bolted my pedals to that.
Nice.
And that's how I drove the car for like 2 years.
I have a bun. Oh, Spangler really close to LePage now. Really close to LePage.
Let's take a look here. Oh, man. Yeah, you're not kidding. LePage almost turns across him there.
Yeah, now when it's a little gap. Yeah, I have a bunch of wood in my rig. It is a next level like FGT rig, but for base plate, I was too cheap to buy base plate, so I basically just made a wooden platform and shit.
There you go. Yep. That's what you got to do
wood
sometimes.
Is such an, wood is an amazing material. Oh, Cookie, not there!
Woo! That was close.
Not there. That's on the apex. What are you doing? What's happened? Is the paddles? No, that's not Cookie. That's
not Cookie. It's the number 20. Yeah, Casey Gould. And the Relentless Motorsport Lamborghini. Man, that was a rough spot to stop the car.
Yeah, that was the worst spot possible. It was right on the apex.
Fortunately, all of our drivers avoid any contact there, but that's all good. I've been playing with Eris in the chat. I've been playing with my controller forever now. I was wondering, how hard is it? Okay, so actually that is a very interesting question. And allow me to introduce you to one of our favorite drivers to talk about here at Apollo Racing Club's name is Niall Drake. This man drives with a controller. He's currently sitting P10 and he is consistently in the top 10. So as long as it's something that you are comfortable with and you can be consistent with more than anything, it is absolutely possible to play this game with a controller. However, it has recently gotten a difficulty spike with the changes that have been made to the force feedback in this game. Kunos has gone to pretty great lengths to make the force feedback as precise and accurate as they can. So you really get a lot of information through your steering wheel that you just don't get through the controller. That said, as we can see, you can be fast with the controller. There's a common cold in the chat saying there are 2 controller drivers. Interesting.
There's another one, but I don't think the other one is here tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Don't remember his name though, but I know that there's another guy and he drives the Ferrari, and it was faster than Niall actually in the Paul Ricard race.
So we missed it, but an update on the battle between Daniel Wright and Matt Byrne. Matt Byrne does get around Daniel Wright for 5th place now.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier. I was gonna mention it later, but yeah, that's 100% correct.
Yep, coming up on Spencer Brown now, who's currently in P4, an excellent position to be, but I think Matt wants it.
Oh yeah, he has done a very good recovery drive at this point, so wouldn't surprise me if he gets that 4th spot, because he's been incredibly consistent in getting the moves done on a very difficult track to overtake on. Yeah, he's right on the bumper here on Spencer Brown, really close. Spencer defending the inside, but I think Matt is he's just gonna set up for the exit here and try to go into turn 1. You see, getting the wide entry, but no, he still gets a good entry. What did Spencer do there? He had the track position. He could have just straight lined it and went wide, but now he just basically forfeited the position to Matty Byrne. He's gonna try to go up the inside. Matty Byrne has to go a little bit wide, and it looks like Spencer Brown is side by side now going into turn 2. But at the same,
there's contact.
No,
save it. He got it. All right.
But now, there you see Daniel Wright coming up to the battle now. But Matt, in classical Mercedes fashion, it just understeers as soon as it gets too close because of the bad throttle rotation. Oh, there's Alan Sue almost collecting them, coming back onto the field. And what is going on here? It's flashing his lights now. Is it? Oh, it's so close going into the final 10 minutes of the race. The battle for, what is this then? 4th. It's 4th, amazing.
Yeah. So he did get around Spencer, but now he's right back on the defense.
Yeah, but we also need to mention that a little bit up ahead, Spangler is not far away from the page, so it's only half a second there.
Yeah, if that number gets any smaller, we will be looking at that for sure.
Yep.
Let's take a look at what Daniel Wright is looking at right now.
That's good corner by Wright.
Mm-hmm.
Spangler 1/10 away from the page. I'm gonna go up and see what happens. Oh, the page has done a mistake. Spangler's paused.
Yep,
What's happened?
I almost got there in time. It's a white flag for Mathis, which is slow car. Maybe made a mistake and had to get on the brakes.
I'm gonna find out what happened. Give me a second.
Yeah, we're gonna do a real quick replay here. I can go back 30 seconds. Let's watch this whole thing unfold. So we've got, looks like Spangler looks up the inside of turn 1, thinks better of it. The Porsche is gonna get the outside line, but runs wide, and that's where he gets around, and that's why there was a white flag.
That's a solid intimidation tactic by Spangler, and it's solid to get the Lexus up into second place.
Yeah, and it worked. That's a position gained for Jeff Spangler. And any second now the replay should end, and we'll be back to live TV. There we go.
We have Paul Wallenstein sadly getting a drive-through with 8 minutes left.
Daniel Wright not okay with having 6th place, still trying to get Spencer Brown. Almost makes contact on the inside of the second chicane. Was able to get on the brakes in time to not spin around the BMW out in front. But he is not taking any prisoners right now. Spencer Brown, you are going to have to be driving the defensive drive of your life right now because that AMG wants to get around you.
That's too tight from Daniel. It's not going to get a good exit from that. So I don't think it's going to be in a position to make a move coming into this coming corner either. But does he manage? He's a bit.
A lot of understeer from the BMW in front, though.
Yeah, that's very wide. It looks like Daniel might have the run here because the Mercedes is very fast in the straights, but yeah, I don't know. The straights are just too short here. But
but the cut in though.
Brown goes deep.
Yep.
And that's definitely a position for Daniel Wright. Yeah, that's way too ambitious for Spencer Brown, and a little bit clumsy, I'd say, this late into the race, where you really need to be on your toes.
See, we have quite the pack of cars in the back of the field here. I don't know if these are all for position. Actually, they must be. I see. Oh, and there's huge contact between Cody Barrett and the number 33 car of M. Vogt.
Yeah, I just missed it. Who was the cause of it?
I wasn't watching long enough to be able to tell you.
Okay.
Let's see, Andre Lloyd also under fire from Max Sunkenlap. Let's see, is that chicane? Yeah, that's the second chicane they're coming. No, that's the last corner. Excuse me.
Yep, I found them.
Paul Wallenstein serving that drive-through penalty.
Yeah, it's unfortunate this late in the race. It's going to drop him back a lot of positions.
I'm going to watch the timer this time so I can actually tell you exactly how much time is lost on a drive-through at Zolder. And bear in mind that the lap times here are averaging about 1 minute and 30 seconds across the entire field. And just to give you an idea, they're getting ready to leave the pit lane right now. 32 seconds. 32 seconds you lose. Just basically doing 50 kilometers an hour. So that's not hugely detrimental, but that is, 30% of your lap gone.
Yep.
Ooh, Andre Alfonso and Spencer Brown getting very close coming around that fast right-hander. Now coming up into the chicane, we got a yellow flag on the 121 car. That's going to be Ice Tin.
Yep, and he is 90 degrees. Oh, he got off the racing line, but he tapped the wall. Oh, that's so sketchy. There comes the leader.
Oh man, you're going to want to watch this battle between Andre Lloyd and oh my goodness. Too wide through the second chicane. They're still trying to figure out who's going to go first. It does look like Spencer Brown's going to get out ahead. Still very close. Coming around the hairpin right now.
There, yeah. Okay, yeah, I found them. Alfonso and Spencer Brown.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, it looks like Alfonso. Yeah, he's been doing a bit of a recovery drive as well since he got tapped in the beginning. But yeah, looks like Spencer's struggling there in the final corner. He's going a little bit too deep and compromises his exit, whilst his opponents are a bit more tidy on the corner exit, and that puts him under pressure going into turn one pretty much every lap now. That's a way better line by Alfonso, although he goes a little bit wide because he's looking for the outside. Take a wide line here now, Alfonso, and you might be able to get a switchback. Yeah, that should be. That might be it. But you cut too much of the inside, and now I don't know. He's not going to be able to get the run there. He's going to be very close, but it's not going to be enough, and it's going to have to drop back a little bit here.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit squirmy there for Alfonso, but Alfonso is very close to the bumper and should be getting a really good tow going into the first chicane. But no, I don't think. No, he's not going to go for it here. But he's way more aggressive over the curbs than what Brown is. That's for sure.
You watch Brown. He's suffering from a lot of understeer right now. I think those front tires are roasted, and that it also explains the braking distances being so off.
Very compromised second chicane. Very compromised second chicane for Spencer. And Afonso is right on the bumper here. Can Afonso manage to get the car to turn? No, he has to lift it a little bit, and that's going to drop him back too much to be able to go for a move going into the hairpin. 999 is a crafty drive. Yeah, I'd say so as well. He's very good.
Oh yeah, no, Spencer is doing an excellent job of handling the pressure. Absolutely. And Spencer's been under pressure for about the last 10 minutes too.
Yeah, 3 minutes left. Where is our leader? He is coming towards the first chicane now.
Oh, and there's almost wheel to wheel coming on the exit of the last corner there, but it does look like Brown's gonna get out in front of it. But look at the toe that Lloyd is getting, or Alfonso is getting right now. Coming into turn 1. Is it gonna be a repeat of last lap? It doesn't look like it. Let's see who gets the better turn 2 here. But look at how close those two are. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, he wants to. Oh, that's very close to being in contact, but that didn't happen. No!
Oh, and he runs wide!
It. Yeah, I think that should probably be it, unless the pace difference is that big. Yeah, and he's on the sand there as well. No, but what's going on? Is my game bugged, or is what's happening?
Everything seems fine over here for me.
Okay, never mind. My game just decided to do something strange, but yeah, it looks like the pace difference between Afonso and Brown is so big because Afonso is right on the bumper already. Wonder what's happened here for Brown. Did you forget to change tires, or what's the deal? Is he running on a different engine map? Give me a second. I'll
yeah, let us know. Top-notch driving from them both. Honestly, despite the incidents that we've seen, there has been a couple of careless mistakes from some of the drivers today. But honestly, that's underscored